Welcome back to another Materials for the Arts, third Thursday artist conversation. I am John Cloud Kaiser, your host, and tonight we're excited to be meeting with the creators of BK Style, which is one of this amazing fashion organizations in Brooklyn that teaches people about opportunities in fashion, and not only that, creates fashion shows that are at the highest level. Now, we're excited to meet with the creator of BK Style, Rick Davy, tonight, and two of the top designers that have come out of the BK Style fashion show programs. Uh, Materials for the Arts, as you may know, is this reuse facility in Long Island City, and we collect all these leftover materials and donate them to artists to use in their work. And we're especially excited about BK Style because they're really interested in the idea of reusing materials when they're making artwork, so much so that they're actually collaborating with Materials for the Arts on a project called Project Warehouse. So that's something that's going to be coming out later in the fall. It's a fashion show program. But in general, these guys have been just doing amazing things with fashion. And so just excited tonight to have a chance to talk to them and learn more about what motivates them and what they're up to. So first of all, Rick, thank you so much for joining us. So excited to have you here. Can you just tell us a little bit in your own words about BK Style? Oh, Rick, just unmute yourself there. No problem. It's the tricky part of Zoom.
Yes.
There we go. All right.
Sorry guys, sorry guys. How are
Tell
you
us,
doing?
Rick. Tell us more. Tell us about
Yeah. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Material, for that. We love what you guys been doing, John, and we are so happy that initially when we started BK Style, we were happy to find an organization like yours and to be able to work with you that would really help us to support what we do, that helps the designers that we work with in such an amazing way. Because without you guys, I don't think we could have helped as much as we want to help, because we wouldn't be able to do as much as we could to support these designers, because a key part of what they do is actually finding materials that they could use. Because as you know, most designers it's really hard when you first start out in the design business. It's an amazing business. It's really great for creativity,
it.
but it can be very challenging when it comes financially to source the material that you need to work with. So because of Material for the Arts, we've been able to survive and support many designers over our last 15 years of programming. So yeah, we're really excited. We are the nonprofit that support the event Fashion Week Brooklyn, which we do twice a year. We used to run it as a spring summer event, fall winter event twice a year, but we changed that up because we realized that most emerging designers kind of do a spring and a summer collection. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult. So we
Mm.
decided to create it into a season one and season two each year. So that allows the designer to design whatever seasonal outfit they want. They could do something spring, they could do something summer. So it doesn't feel like they're committed to create a specific seasonal collection. It opens up the door for them a little bit more. Yes. So we're really excited to be working with you guys, that you guys provide so much materials. And it's really a great thing because it's what we like doing, which is about sustainability. And it helps to know that there are people who have all of this material, that they could give it to someone else that could use it for a purpose. So we're really excited about that. So thank you.
Well, I mean, thank you. I mean, I've already seen some of the work of some of these designers that we're gonna get a chance to chat with tonight, and it's just phenomenal. And then the layers of context and thought. We're gonna get a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
But I just want to just hear a little bit more from you, or if you wouldn't mind sharing with our audience, just a little bit more about the past 15 years and kind of what were some of your motivations of creating BK Style and just tell us a little bit more about how and why and how did it come about?
Yeah, well, that's a good one. Yeah, it came about because I worked with a lot of designers, styling celebrities. I worked at BET and I did 106 and Park there for a long time. And a lot of times when I style anyone, I would actually love to use the luxury designers. But what interested me most was the designers who were emerging designers. So I'd give them that opportunity to put their clothes
Hmm.
on a celebrity that normally probably wouldn't get that opportunity. So after doing that for many years, and then I realized I lived in Brooklyn, and I know Brooklyn was really at that point 15 years ago. It's not the way it was now. And we had New York Fashion Week, and amazingly, a lot of emerging designers couldn't afford to show at New York Fashion Week, and there was very limited fashion shows. So I'm saying Brooklyn is the next borough. It's one of the larger boroughs in the five boroughs. You know, why don't we have our own fashion show? But I just didn't want to do just like a regular fashion show. I wanted to tie it in with a nonprofit so that we can give back. So it wouldn't be something that I would be charging people, excuse me, to enter or to pay for. So the idea was to create a nonprofit that would support the fashion event.
Hmm.
So when we started out, everyone said, oh, no one is going to come to Brooklyn for a fashion event, you know. And we did our first one under the Brooklyn Bridge. It was called the Dumbo Warehouse then. And it was amazing. We had over 1,500 guests. New York Times gave us a huge write up, and here we are 15 years later. But it's been really amazing because we didn't just show designers from
Oh, Rick, you just got muted. Magic muting. There
Brooklyn.
we go.
So we had designers from around the nation, from everywhere. And then we had designers internationally started to want to show with us. So yeah, 15 years now we've been showing almost like
Phenomenal.
each season, almost 30 designers each season, each year. Yeah. So I
Wow.
think we have
So
showed a
awesome.
lot of designers over the years. And we can look back and see a lot of designers now who has really changed the scope of design since we started. For example, the girl who just won the cut, Andrea Pitter, on the new Project Runway, she started with us and she just won the
Wow.
cut. Yeah, now she's having
Phenomenal.
a collection on Amazon. So it's been a long road, but it's been a good road. Yes, thank you.
I mean, listen, New York is it's just true. The city is just so full of so many people, young people that are given so many creative opportunities and they have so much to offer. But it's absolutely true that it can be so difficult to get that foothold. And like we kind of all remember that moment. So it's so important to honor that. But then the rewards are so great because so many creative ideas, I mean, I'm already amazed by the work of the designers I've met through your organization. So um, and then you've also done. I mean, really, it's just so cool. I mean, I've always been into the idea of like community based art.
Yeah.
Art where it doesn't just end with the object, but the content. The whole experience. Like, how does it tie into the community? How does it tie into the artistic community? All these different ideas. And I find such a nice, loving community in what you folks do, which is just really awesome.
Yeah.
But then you work with like schools and things like that too. Am I right? And two programs with schools. Seems like the fashion industry's high school and places like that.
Yes, yeah. That's an important part of why we did it too, because I think part of the whole idea is always, because the fashion business could be tough. So think about a young designer trying to break into the fashion business. Where
Hmm.
do they start? How do they start? So to have an organization like us that would support them and give them that platform, it's always amazing. So we have been working with the high school. We love high school kids. We love working with them. We work with Maxwell William High School in the low income areas, tons of other high school. And for example, here we have Bridget Artist who is on, one of our designers, and it's a really cool story between Bridget and I because Bridget has been a sustainable designer before you even use the word sustainable. Back then we were saying eco-friendly, right? And Bridget showed a collection with us for many years. She did amazing. Actually got a lot of write-up. And then we usually do these panel discussion. So we had a panel discussion about sustainability with these amazing panelists. Bridget was in the panel, and then she showed up and she said, after the panel, Rick, we need to talk. She said, we need to have a sustainable fashion week just for sustainability.
Yes.
And I said, let's do it. And I said, yes, Bridget, let's do it. So now we have Sustainable Fashion Week. And here we are.
That's,
And here goes Bridget. And we
well,
are doing
that's a
that with
good.
a lot of kids. And Bridget, we have done so many stuff, so many competition, changed so many lives in 1 year that we have been doing Sustainable Fashion Week. This is going to be our second season in September. And we have already changed a lot of lives already and created a lot of partnership internationally. So Bridget, you
Oh,
can take it away from there and join in and talk about how we champion that if you like.
awesome.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
Bridget.
And it's kind of weird too, because, you would think that COVID would stop us. But COVID actually is what it allowed us to expand so quickly, because everything was virtual and online. So from that, we were able to reach places that didn't even dream of. We were making impact in communities in, India, making impact in communities in, the UK. And it was so crazy because we didn't anticipate that, especially coming out as a newbie platform. But it was because we were forced to do it virtually that we were able to expand and be able to impact communities, not just in the US. So that was amazing. But, the fact that we're able to, actually have something live this year, we're really excited to be able to give a platform to students, because I think that was really our main focus, was to concentrate on, have a platform and resource for kids coming right out of high school and college, and be able to feel supported in the platform. The regular fashion weeks or the other fashion weeks, you come right out of college, you can't afford a $20,000 entry fee into to
New
be
York
seen.
Fashion Week, yeah.
And so most of our entry fees are sponsored. So, they don't even have to pay anything to participate. So, it's really about, making sure we support the student sustainable designers straight off the bat, so they feel supported, and they, know that they can move forward in this and have a foundation behind them.
Right on. Awesome. So awesome. And I just love, again, just that intersection between art and, just the importance of art, seeing the importance of I mean, maybe could you just talk a little bit more about, why for you is fashion the place where this happens, and maybe a little bit more about your personal passion for this.
Well, I say sometimes that, I was chosen for this, just because it definitely wasn't on my trajectory at all. So, the fact that I started 20 years ago when, no one was really thinking about sustainability, and it wasn't trendy. And, but the fact was, we were kind of all upcycling, that, and, we've been upcycling before me. And so I just think that the fact that I had a book that put it in the forefront, kind of made it a viable business where nobody else was actually really pushing that type of, business. So, the fact that I started then, and, my customers are actually the ones that told me I was sustainable. We didn't have Google back then, VP. I had to, I'm like, people told me I was well, they said actually eco-friendly, because we didn't even have the word sustainable.
No.
They were like, you're so green and eco-friendly. And I'm like, what's that? But that's what I was. But I was doing it purely out of passion. I just loved being able to cut up these designer pieces and these amazing pieces and being able to turn it into something else. It was just fun for me. And the fact that I could make money off it was just like a win-win. So then when I find out that it actually helps the environment and that it's sustainable, I mean, it was like, eureka. And then once I started to look up the statistics and the facts, it's no way you could go back once you know the statistics. Like once you know the hard truths, it's kind of impossible to shop retail again. And so, it's been, at least 13 years since I shopped retail. And I'm pushing it nonstop. And so when I asked Rick to, what he thought about a sustainable fashion week, he did not hesitate. And it was, moving forward ever since. And like he said, helping the most just people you wouldn't anticipate. I would say probably the first season was filled with people that didn't even know they were sustainable designers. And so, right, that's crazy to me, and they were just recreating out of resource. They didn't have the money to buy high-end fabrics. So they went to the thrift shop and thrifted their high-end fabrics, but they didn't dub it sustainable. That's just the way they did things. So, I just love that we were reintroducing, the word sustainable to people that weren't using it. So that was, a highlight for us. And then, being able to work with, young artists like Victor, is just 100% inspiring. Because he's out of the box 100% of the time.
Well, I feel like a lot of what you're describing and what I see sometimes from artists is just like, it's like this kind of like form follows function kind of thing, where it's like reuse doesn't necessarily just happen because it's like cheaper or necessarily, but it's also just, it might be partially cheaper, but it's also just available. It's stuff that's around, it's things that you could, but then you start thinking about the context, what's the history, what's the inborn meaning with all this stuff. And then to me, the story becomes that much more interesting when there's these layers of history associated with the things that are used. And I know, Bridget, you're talking about that, and Victor, you do that. Victor Perlman, what's going on? Welcome to the conversation.
Yeah,
so
Victor is a man with creativity. I think anyone I can think about taking
there's some creativity.
Is how Victor started. Victor's story when he came to us and he showed his first collection. I mean, I was blown away. Like, Victor, where did you get your fabric from? And this is, go ahead, Victor.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We met, and the first conversation we had, after getting, acquainting each other, show me your pieces. I showed him one pair of pants I had made, and it was made out of a couch. The first couch I saw in Brooklyn, and I took it apart, and he was like, what? It was amazing, blah, blah. We really connected over that, and it was great. We had a good conversation about it. Weeks passed, and he, basically inspired me to make it a full collection and showcase it, and follow the story, follow through, and then refine, and just the whole process has been very good. And Rick and Bridget and the whole team, MFTA obviously has been perpetuating me to keep going and keep just continuing the story.
Well, I mean, I've seen a number of your designs, and I just think they're amazing. And I'd love if you could just tell people a little bit more about kind of some of the ideas you have behind some of your approaches to designing.
Well, I guess I have an appreciation for the mundane. First off, that's been since I've shot photography and been into film photography before I found my love for fashion. I've always appreciated the mundane and like looked at things and realized, oh, that took a lot of thought, or that's a cool little detail in that thing, or whatever it is. Couches and kind of some random furniture, pieces of furniture are kind of the subject in this collection. But yeah, the mundane, that's first and foremost. And then I guess I begin with the fabric. So I'm finding these couches on the street or reaching out to people over Craigslist or however it may be, but coming across, vintage materials that have history or may have stories made on it, whatever.
So you're making things using the fabric from found couches.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying.
No, that's it's just phenomenal. I just think it's so cool. And there's something so,
Yeah,
awesome.
and now we're expanding. So the first collection was with Rick, the fall winter, and that was only couches, and I was obsessed with couches. And then I did right at the end, the last week before the show, I got to the point of plastic, because grandmas cover their couches with plastic. So right before I showcased that collection, I got to make a pair of plastic pants, and that was like the first collection. And then going into kind of season 2 with Rick and Fashion Week Brooklyn, I got to the rest of the home. So we went to like window curtains, and I have a piece I could show.
Yes.
Yes. Excuse me. Hold up right here.
Well, that's the fun thing with this Zoom, Bridget, like you were saying, it's like we can go into people's studios.
This is not my space, actually. This is my friend Tucker's space, but still good.
We're
working.
in a studio.
So this is a pair of shorts, and right here you see a grommet, and that's from a window curtain. So and then this is a couch. This
love it.
Kind of fake leather, or we'll call it vegan, even though it's that's a whole other story conversation. But yeah, this is a couch that was left in the lobby of my apartment, and then this is a doily. So this is another piece of vintage material used. And then
beautiful.
Some denim from MFTA.
Beautiful.
Shout out.
And that doily looks like it's had some life behind it.
Yeah, right. These doilies definitely decorated in nice
stories.
Oh wait, there's this material is from MFTA. It's nice stretchy material. And then to finish it off, we have the details, the mundane, the VP belt loop. So it's like it's a belt loop.
Victor knows how much I love the VP.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, but I like that Bridget calls me VP. That's pretty cool, Thank you.
I can't believe no one else has called him that. That's just like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say, this is why I love seeing other designers and talking to them, because seeing what Victor just showed me is just inspiring me to, be more unconventional and trying different fabrics and looking at curtains, rugs, and everything else. And I'm just like, I just want to create now even more.
So Nini, welcome to the conversation. This is Nini, who's also one of the most recent participants in the Project Warehouse adventure at Materials for the Arts, and just another fabulous fashion designer that has just all sorts of ideas that I've already seen. Reusing materials and just super inspiring. Looks like right now we're peeking into your space too here, which is awesome. And
it's pink.
Yeah, everything
looks like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It is.
While we're talking about spaces, Bridget, come on, this backdrop.
Let me just give a backstory a little bit on Nini, how we met Nini. Nini came to volunteer with us. We were doing this, we got this opportunity to do the windows at King's Plaza. And we were, these empty stores, we didn't want to keep them empty. So we decided a good way to make the stores look beautiful in the mall was to get all of the creative and have them decorate the store window, so that at least when people pass and it's not an empty store for lease or for rent, but it will be a beautiful window by these amazing creative. And Nini came in as a volunteer to help. And we had one small window left. And we said, Nini, would you like to do something in the window? Because she keeps saying, I'm a designer, I design. And she said, oh, I want to do a window. We said, okay, Nini, you could do this window. And Nini actually took all the plastic wrappings that was left around and draped a dress out of plastic. That was so amazing in the window. And we were like, Nini,
I just
amazing.
you gave me the opportunity.
Phenomenal, yes.
Yeah, you gave me the opportunity and I just went with it. I just took it and ran with it. And I was like, it was so last minute, so I didn't really know what to do. So I saw like all the trash cans and plastic they were throwing out in the garbage can. And I was like, this looks like very reusable. So I just took it and I draped the dress and I put some bedazzle and pizzazz on it. And it just turned into a beautiful gown. And it was really exciting. Everything is made up of garbage that they were going to throw out. I couldn't let them.
And that's like that utility in that context thing, like taking that thing in our, you know, it's like harvesting the materials around to like put into it. But then there's like that, like, to me at least, like there's that layer of like memory of that former life of it, but it kind of like, wait, what is that? Because plastic can be really beautiful. I mean, it's kind of sinister, but also very beautiful. It's tricky, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us more, maybe Nini, about some of those work you've been just up to recently, a collection you're working on now.
I mean, well, school's been starting, so I've been busy with school as well. I haven't been creating as much as Victor or the other designers. So I've been keeping it a little low, but when I do create, I just get inspired by everything that's around me. Like I can be going to the corner store and I see like a leaf on the floor and I'm like, this is a very interesting texture and design. And I'll just go home and sketch something quickly and just, make it out of it. But other than that, it's just me in school and just seeing what I can do with different things at home. And if I'm bored or if I want to DIY some clothes, I guess that's pretty much how it goes.
Wow. So you're living that kind of like art in life type of inspiration. Well, that's awesome.
It just mixes with life. It happens randomly. I don't know when or where it happens, but sometimes you just get inspired by random things out of nowhere. And it just happens. Magic happens.
Well, thanks for coming to Materials to the Arts to do projects. Yeah, what did you think? Maybe tell us what did you think about the experience at the Materials for the Arts? Pretty fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. The shopping, especially, who don't love shopping? It was a lot of fun, and there were so many materials that we just didn't know where to start or how to go from it. So it all happened so quickly, but it was a lot of fun. It was a bit emotional for me as well too, because I before going into that, I haven't been creating for months. Like I'm talking months. When you get the writer's block from writing, I was having like designer block. I wasn't sewing, I wasn't making anything, and it was just a blur. So when I got called into the competition, I was like, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a try. And then when everything happened, I realized how competitive I am. And I realized how much I love designing and how much I just love art in general. And having sustainability as the theme, you can do so much with it. So it was just a complete blast. I loved it.
So awesome. Well, it's fun for me. I mean, because to me, I see, like I work with all different kinds of art forms, the arts proper. So, encountering people that are able to use the lens of fashion, I find just very inspiring. So I appreciate it. And actually, I want to make sure that we include Kevin in the conversation. Kevin, we saw you flicker on there for a minute.
Yes, how you doing? Sorry, I was trying to fix my background and stuff like that.
No, you're good. It's all good. Victor was in the car here. We're just chilling. We're just chilling. So yeah.
I'm here late. I just got in from Apple. I had to go get a phone.
Nice. So yeah, we're just good. We're just basically talking about BK style and designers like yourselves that are doing fashion shows and programs like through BK style, and how cool it is really. And really, Materials to the Arts reuse. So I don't know, maybe you want to just talk a little bit about the fashion you've been doing, maybe a little bit how that experience with reuse can tie into it. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity first and foremost, and thank you guys for also inviting me on this Zoom chat even after the competition. But the experience, I have to say, was amazing. I've never did sustainable fashion or designing of any kind before. I've only dealt with new pieces, new fabrics for only a month before even getting into this. So I was fairly new, period. So to be a part of this and to actually compete and actually show up with a piece and follow through and have my model walk was amazing. It was amazing. I didn't think I could do it, to be honest with you.
Oh man, your work is just phenomenal, because you did just jump right in with the reuse element. So yeah, I felt like, there were so many different ways that you were able to kind of own the fact that it was reused, which was just really cool. Yeah, maybe just tell us a little bit more. So otherwise, just right now, in terms of fashion, what do you see coming up next? If you're
Well, right
what
now
kind of,
I'm
for
working on
yourself?
a lot of different things for like a new brand. I was gonna do a show, but as far as timing is concerned and being able to perform how I want to, I think I'm gonna hold off on doing a show anytime soon. But I'm still working every day. Like I honestly, since I've seen you guys, I haven't stopped working at all. I sew every day. I make new things every day. I've actually ventured off into making bags for women, like in duffel bags
Awesome.
and all kinds of stuff. Like that doesn't even involve like clothes, just accessories to go with my clothes. Because I've definitely done a lot of like research and just seeing like like it's not just clothes, it's what complements it, and this and that, and then sustainability and being able to have something that you reuse is like a bragging right, because it's like, how did you do that? For sure.
Man. Well, people are going to get a chance when the episode comes out to see yourself in action on the show. But I mean, I just like
Yeah.
I remember it's just like feeling it's like almost like a hip hop kind of samurai feel, like both
Yeah,
like
like two worlds
fashionable
in
and
one.
current, but very chill and understated in a certain way, but also owning those materials, just beautiful. So
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So so the basically the three designers that we're just chatting with are some of the designers that are participants in this upcoming show, Project Warehouse. Rick, you want to tell us just a little bit more about the show? I think, Bliss, we have some images we could show briefly to share with people, if you'd be interested, Rick. And then, folks, we're going to have a chance for people to ask questions for our designers in a second as well.
Yes.
So yeah, Rick, just tell us a little bit more about Project Warehouse.
Project Warehouse came about because we actually did this one we're looking at. This one we did a third Thursday, like this what we're doing now, and we did this live, and we had Bridget and three other designers, and Victor. This is your garment here on the left, right, and then Tyrone, and we brought them into the warehouse. Thanks to you, John, and they had access to the warehouse for what? Bridget, was it 1 hour? To collect whatever they can at the warehouse and create something and have a fashion show right after. And it was so amazing. And I went away thinking like, wait a minute, there's Project Runway, there's all of these design challenge in TV, but none of them really talks about sustainability. Here we have a huge warehouse, we have these amazing designers. Why not create a program that would inspire the designers to realize what you have at home or where you have anywhere that you can really use it and make it into something? And that's where we came about with Project Warehouse, hence the warehouse that you guys have at Materials for the Art. So we have this competition running every week. 5 designers will come to the warehouse. They will have access to this amazing warehouse. They will shop. We'll have a theme. And then they will go off. They'll have a mentor managed by Bridget, who is an amazing mentor curator. And the mentor will guide them. And then they'll come back the following week and showcase their design. And the first week was denim and beads. And so we had Victor, here we are with Victor, Nini, and some of the judges we had in the show. And John, you as the host, an amazing host. So it was an amazing day. And we can't wait to show it to the world. We just finished actually shooting today another shopping episode, which was fabric and paint. So we are
So good.
excited about it coming up. We can't
So
announce
good.
who won or who is not. There
Victor.
goes Victor with his model. We can't show you the garment he made, but there he goes. Yeah.
Well, it's so fun. Again, like just such a fun group, and all your camera team and everybody's just so cool. Like just a whirlwind. But like, just
Kevin
speaks to the
and
look at that. There we
Kevin and
go.
Nini with
Kevin
all the
and
fabric.
Nene.
Look at all this fabric. John, you guys are amazing. Look at this. This is just
So
like
that's right. Like Amateurs to the Arts, it's just literally
They
aisle
already
after
look like
aisle.
celebrities.
Yeah, different supplies. Look at these guys.
Look at these
They
guys.
are.
Yeah.
They are.
Superstars.
So I mean, here we go.
There's
Oh
our
my goodness, some of our
judges.
celebrity judge
Judges.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I just think that it's just so cool. And to me, the main, besides the sustainability aspect, it's just my belief that the arts can play such an integral role in healing and our society and making for a better world and in such important ways, just because of so many things. But I mean, you know, would you be willing to, maybe each of you or Rick, to start just talk a little bit about why fashion in your life? What is it about fashion that gets you to come back to it?
I think we all should answer a little bit of it, but for me, it's
Sure.
the joy it brings to me and the joy it brings to other people, because your fashion kind of give you a sense of who you are when you get up in the morning, just to even choose your outfit. It might, sometimes
Hmm.
you spend the night thinking about what I'm going to wear tomorrow when you have something to go, somewhere to go. And then sustainability comes in and play an even bigger role in that, because then you think about, how can I save the planet so I don't have to shop this much? What can I do to really make myself an individual and still do something good for the planet and make someone else happy? It's amazing when you go out and you look good and you feel good and someone say, wow, you look good, and you put a smile on their face. Oh, I love your bag. I love your shoes. Where did you get it? So it sparks up human interaction. And I love that about fashion.
That is awesome. And I mean, absolutely right. It's art in life. It's like we were every day, right? It's like we can't hide it. No, it's awesome. I don't know. What do you think, Bridget? Got any ideas here? Why fashion?
Well, I was going to say that, once upon a time, us women, that was the only way we expressed ourselves, which is why I love vintage, because, we were washing dishes in like a full, almost like gown, back in the 50s and in those days. So, I just think that fashion is amazing because it's been able to express, and express people for centuries. We've been speaking through our clothes for a very long time, and like you mentioned earlier, the story behind clothes is everything. And that's why I love sustainability, because every piece that's sustainable has a story because it's been something else. So, you automatically have a story with a sustainable piece because you get to tell why you turned it into that, where it came from, why you picked that piece. So it's like already a built-in story. So, fashion, I was in high school, the Lisa Bonet of my group. I was always left when everybody was right. And hopefully that's the way I'll go out, and that's just, like I said, just being able to express yourself is everything, and clothes is the way we do it most of the time.
Amazing. True. And so true. And so true. And so liberating in certain situations, and it can be scary too. And I think that liberation is just so key. Like you're describing how, we want to be able to give people the opportunity to go in their own direction. That's so freeing and important. What do you think, Victor? What draws you to fashion, specifically?
Fashion. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say we have three different amazing answers here, in my opinion. Okay, so to bounce off of Bridget, so it's kind of like Bridget. So it's like a form of art that is completely encapsulating of all medium. Like I like photography, so if I want to include photography into fashion and express that love for photography and fashion, I can do that. Or if I like, a certain material or texture, whatever medium, if you like working with metal, you can include that into fashion. It's a kind of all-encompassing blend of mediums. So that's why I like it. And it's also, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of like a facilitator of so many amazing, of music, of all mediums of art. Yeah, I'm gonna end it with that.
Wow, absolutely. That's great. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a
There's a
host.
lot of flexibility, actually, which is really says a lot about fashion, that it, as a art form, it allows for so much flexibility. That's actually really cool. What about you, Nini? What do you think? Why do you engage in fashion as an art form?
Yeah, I want to bounce off of Bridget and Victor because it's just everything just connects so well. Like fashion, it's connected in every single thing. It drives me because it's so crazy. because ever since I was little, you know how you had a dream, like you want to be a doctor or firefighter or whatever. I knew I wanted to be a designer slash stylist, and I knew that's exactly what I wanted, and I'm gonna get it. And for some reason, I wanted to, like how you said, I forgot what you said earlier, but you said something about how it draws you back, because for some reason, I don't know, but I thought I wanted to try being a pharmacist, which is completely a whole separate thing. I was like, I want to try being a pharmacist. And I realized all the chemistry and math and all the things you have to do. And I tried going to school for it in a way. And I just started going right back into fashion. Like I realized, the math that you're doing and taking the measurements and the dress forms and everything, it just all brought me right back to fashion. And I'm like, why am I trying to change something that, I was born into and something that I love? Because my mom was a seamstress, my grandmother was also a seamstress, and my grandfather was a man's suit tailorist. And it's just in my blood. So I'm like, why try to change something that I have so much passion for? Because I love it. And fashion, you don't even need to know how to sew. You can work it out with a hot glue gun, some tape, safety pins, whatever you find. And it's so fascinating how it went from 2D to 3D and paper and virtual. It's just art. It's not just about clothes. It's everything around you. It's fashion and art. Even if you see it or not, it's all over. And I love it because why not? It's everything.
I love that. That's so empowering. I mean, it's such an empowering perspective to have. It's just this idea of, seeing our everyday
Yeah.
possibility, not necessarily every day, but,
Yeah,
the possibility exists
Mhm.
whenever we need it.
Yeah,
And
even
to whatever
looking at
degree we need it.
houses could be fashion, the different paint, the different textures, the different textiles. Cars could be fashion, the streets, the roads. It's just, yeah, everything around you is absolutely fashion.
Awesome. That's
Hmm.
amazing.
And Nene, you could also go back to the pharmacy too, and you can make new uniform for the pharmacist.
Yeah, make
You
some
could
stylish
upcycle the old
uniforms.
pharmaceutical
Mhm.
uniform.
Transform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
at material today, to the arts today, and on one of the mannequin there was a scrub. And
Oh,
Victor,
see?
we actually found some
Mhm.
stuff. So I'm thinking maybe you could take this scrub,
Yeah, yeah,
upcycle it into something new.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can be popping too. Yep.
Yeah. How cool would it be to see a pharmacist looking all cool and
Right.
trendy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He would
Exactly.
light up your day. So you
And
just go
Yeah.
and get
scrub.
medicine. His fashion
Hmm.
could make you feel
Rick, we have
better.
to have a chat about scrubs. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Wow. Well, Kevin, what do you think? We're going down the line here. Why is fashion, the art form that's been so engaging for yourself?
I've always liked art, from music to paintings to anything that has to do with something you can look at or even listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think me finding fashion so late at this point of my life, I'm actually older, so like it's like the last element that I kind of needed to find myself and to move forward with like my visions and certain things, because I feel like fashion means a lot in everything you see. You always see somebody wearing clothes, so you're always gonna see that. So I feel like that was the
Yes.
last element that I needed to go to the next step in my life, as far as like what I want to do, like for myself or like a brand or like anything as far as clothes or fashion. So that's kind of where I'm standing.
So for you, you're saying like it almost like envelops you in the sense that you're making music, you're making visual art, you have and then there's the fashion element, and all of those
Exactly.
are part of the
All the
experience.
elements come together right now for myself personally in my life. Yes, for sure.
That sounds like awesome, and I would imagine that that's kind of a common theme amongst y'all. And to me, like again,
Yeah.
not to be reuse center or anything, but I always think it's like kind of like when people really get into the context, when you're starting to be surrounded by it, and then you start kind of like vintage, finding elements and reusing them and responding to the community and the bags on the street and all those different things. But I'm so thankful to hear the ideas that everyone has and to see everything. So this is kind of like a teaser conversation. Everybody got to keep your eyes posted for the later in the year for the Project Warehouse series to be released, and see some of these great designers in action. Rick, so wonderful to speak with you, and for the work that you do. I thank you. You know,
We
and
can do it without
Bridget.
materials for the ads, John. Come on, you guys have the key. We was there today. We saw some amazing stuff. 2 bin full of items from Rent the Runway. Think about that. Rent the Runway is donating to you guys that now we have access to upcycle and make it something new. It's not going in the garbage. We're gonna make it new. Victor is gonna make it new. Bridget is gonna make it new. Nene, Kevin, give us all of that stuff and we'll make it new and put it back on the street for people to
So
love.
thank you. Thank everyone here. But
Yeah.
Amen. Of course.
I mean, absolutely. And honestly, like, people, you know, in general, please do spread the word. Materials for the Arts. You
follow
know,
us on
if
Insta.
artists are coming through a not-for-profit, through any of those organizations, through a school, through a library, a community center, they're able to come and get these supplies to use for their projects as well. So
One more thing, yeah. I just want to say that I hope, after the show is aired or even seeing little teasers, I hope it can inspire other people to just upcycle things in their house, just do little DIYs or just making their outfits a little more pizzazz. I'm hoping that we can, inspire everyone else who is watching it to be involved in us in their own home as well. They don't have to be on set or wherever. They can just be in the comfort of their own home doing things just like us and looking fashionable.
that's like such a beautiful message, and I feel that from all of you, and I'm inspired
I think
and
my screen's
challenged.
frozen.
So well, Bridget, Victor,
Can you
Kevin,
hear me?
Nene, thank you. We can hear you. We can
Am
hear
I
you.
frozen?
We're freezing, but we're probably going to sign out right now in just a second. Before we do, though, I just want to make sure anyone has any last thoughts or comments. We'd love to hear them.
One quick thing, real brief.
Yeah.
Kevin and I have linked up, and Nene and I have kept in contact, and it's because of y'all. So our minds are activated, and we're thinking, and we're creating, and thank you.
And I'll just say that Materials for the Arts is an amazing resource. And I hope that Project Warehouse, spreads that on top of sharing the talents of course, Victor, Nene, and Kevin, and all the people involved, and get people more activated in sustainable fashion.
Yeah. Not that hard, people. You can do it.
It's really not. You don't even know how to sew. You don't even need to.
Yes, you don't need to. You have the opportunities so far and in between. I know you can hand stitch, as you can say, you can glue, you can
everything. You just have to be creative. Just think outside the box.
Yeah, think about all the box. Take all of the old t-shirt and glue them together and make a dress. Make a skirt. Just glue them together and come outside and somebody's gonna say, wow, fabulous. Where did you get that?
Yes. Yes, you guys are awesome. This is true, though. I mean, I think it's true. Like, the wildest thing you wear on the subway, the more compliments you're gonna get, not the other way around.
The more eyes. They might not be complimenting you with their mouths, but they're thinking about it. They're looking at you and thinking about it.
Did you see the big brand that made that sweater that had all of the little teddy bears and the little stuffed toys all over the sweater? That was thousands of dollars. Anybody can make one of those sweaters. You just get a bunch of stuffed toy from the 99-cent store, and you just get a needle and you just sew them on wherever you want and step outside and you have a luxury sweater.
Yep, luxury sweater. As we're speaking, look at these. Look at all of these.
Future sweaters.
I'm gonna make me $1,000 sweater.
Oh man, the ideas like just keep popping. It's so awesome. You guys will thank you so much for the work you do. Thanks for joining us tonight, and let's keep the eyes open, folks, for these fabulous designers and BK style as the year goes on and into the future. And you can join us every month on the third Thursday for an artist conversation. Thanks for joining us tonight, and thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful
Thank
evening,
you.
and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Too.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank
Be
you.
safe. Stay hydrated.
Hydrated, yes.
Good night.